Alright guys, today we are doing a DIY fireplace makeover because as usual we are on a budget. This was originally going to be one big video, but I decided to split this up. This is part one of my living room makeover. So I'm starting off the room here. This is something I've wanted to do since we moved into our house. Before we jump in, go ahead and hit the like button, and if you want to catch the full reveal, the full makeover of the living room video, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss that coming up in the next couple weeks. As always, starting here with the demo day and the cleanup of the room, trying to get everything out of the way. Of course, wearing my comfy sweatpants because who doesn't demo in sweatpants? Here's our little blank slate that we've got going on. First up, I need to cut all of the previous caulking that they had around the side to loosen it up as much as possible and not rip the entire wall off when I pull this thing off the wall. Honestly, with this whole project, I was just kind of winging it. I had a basic idea based on some Pinterest searches, what I was going for, but I started with taking apart these front pieces to see if I could maybe save part of the mantle that was up there by sanding it down, repainting it, and just giving it a more modern look on the front. Once I got into it, I realized the mantle top was not attached the way that I thought it was, and I kind of ended up going with, you'll see later, just taking everything off.
There she goes. I've never taken apart a fireplace before. That's fun.
Here I am, still spending the time taking bits apart to see if I could potentially reuse this top part. And like I said, I ended up going a different direction. I do feel like I wasted a little bit of my time going through it the way that I did, but I had no idea what was going to be under there.
Everything's coming off so easily. How easily would this come off? This marble here. Never done anything with marble before. Just worried that the marble won't be as easy to come off as we think it is and will cause some major damage to the wall.
So as you can see, that marble ended up being there. Wasn't expecting it to stick out the way that it did. That's why I ended up going with the recovering the sides approach. Here we are unloading all the lumber from the car. Everything that I got from this project was from Home Depot. I will link it below if I can. It all totaled up to around $120. That's including the mantle, the shiplap, and everything that went into this. One way that you could save is by not going with actual tongue and groove shiplap and just using 1x6s and spacing them out yourself. So here I am rebuilding the sides of the fireplace by using some 1x8 boards and nailing them in there with my nail gun. And you will see here is when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do on the top piece. I wanted to use this 1x8, but I thought it would look kind of weird going from the 1x8 up to the mantle, and it would just be too much. I ended up finding this skinny piece of 1x2 that worked perfectly, nailed that in there, and decided to shiplap all the way up from there. I'm really glad that I went with this. I thought it was a lot cleaner look and less bulky. For the top part of the fireplace, I went with a 1x4 on each side to trim out the shiplap. It's totally up to you which way you want to go about it, but I thought it would be easier for myself if I put the 1x4s up first and then measured the inside for my cuts.
This is the moment I've been waiting for all day. The first piece of shiplap. I hope it fits. Okay, close. I'm like so severely wrong. What did I do? I measured it twice. I measured it 2 times. Where's my measuring tape? Going in. Yes. It's beautiful. I'm so freaking excited. Okay, I'm gonna mark where the studs are before I put a piece over this. This.
Once you get the cut right, these are actually really easy to put up. I just use my nail gun and some 2-inch nails to put them all in. After these first couple boards, I pretty much was rolling on it. It was actually really fun to do and satisfying. I love clicking the little planks into place. This is shiplap that I've never used before. That's why I was so excited. I've always wanted to shiplap something myself, and I finally accomplished that.
Day 2 living room / fireplace makeover. Surprisingly, only my second trip to the hardware store. So I'm about to head back to Home Depot right now because I needed one more shiplap board, and this one's gonna be tricky because we have to cut it. We have to cut the whole length of it to make it fit in the top section. It's just a little bit too big to fit perfectly flush with the ceiling, which I didn't expect it to do anyway. We don't have a table saw, so we'll have to use our circular saw. I had enough boards. I grabbed one extra board just in case, and I ended up using that extra board because I wasn't planning on shiplapping from the very top of the fireplace. I ended up not using the 8-inch header, so we used more shiplap, and that is why I don't have enough shiplap. Got it. That was pretty quick for you guys. One thing I wanted to know about this shiplap, if you're going to use it, I got it from Home Depot. I really like it because it's the tongue and the groove. That makes it really easy for the spacing when they go together, because everything's automatically figured out for you. But I wanted to give you guys a little note. Make sure you're looking through the stacks there, because a lot of them were damaged or broken in places that you would see on the front, or they just had some crazy like paint situation happening. So make sure you're digging and checking out the ones before you just grab a stack of them. Also, it took me a minute to realize this yesterday, probably 2 or 3 boards, but the boards themselves are not a straight cut on the end. Some of them were cut like slanted or just not cut very well at all. So I would have to start by cutting off an end and then making my actual cut. Make sure you're looking at that. But yeah, these are 1 by 6 inch by 8 foot boards, and I'm using, this will be 13. I need 13 of them.
If you cannot get a perfect cut for your top piece, I found that adding a 1/4 inch round hides pretty much all imperfections and was really easy to do.
Time to sand, prime, caulk, paint, and then she's done. Oh wait, the mantle, dang it, the mantle.
It was during this that my girls started getting a little bit crazy. So the true MVPs of this project, my parents, were watching my girls so I could finish this up. So like I said, I caulked everything. I filled in all of the little holes with my wood filler at first, and then I realized it was actually really hard to squeeze. So I switched over to my pink filler that I have that turns white when it dries. Once everything was done drying, I went back through everything to give it a smooth sanding, make it as smooth as possible. While that was drying though, I went out and started to build my mantle. As always, feel free to leave any questions that you have about this project down in the comments, and I will hopefully be able to answer any of them. But for here, I didn't record all that much of the mantle building. To build this, I used 2 1x8s and 1 1x4. The side pieces are the 1x4 and the top and the bottom are the 1x8s. I also slid a little piece there in the middle to give it some support. And here's the piece that I built to slide that floating mantle onto. To build that little brace, I used a piece that was already existing from the previous mantle, and I screwed my own pieces into that. They're little 1x2s. And then all of that was attached to the stud on the wall so that I know this can hold up the mantle. Staining time. These are the 2 stains I picked up from Home Depot, Early American and Classic Gray. Again, I'll link them down below. I was really excited about the color of this mantle because it was going to be the main thing bringing warmth over to this corner, and I knew the color would contrast really well with the black and white. I was really excited. Here was a little test board that I did to see what the colors would look like. To apply it, I used a foam brush, and then I wiped all the excess off with a clean rag.
Okay, so here we have the mantle and this little bookshelf that we have going in the room. Right now I'm kind of trying to stain them similar colors. I'm gonna try and add the gray now to the mantle to see if I can get it even closer to this one, but they're not too far apart.
This is what the color looked like after I combined those two, and I think it matched up pretty well. They're both gonna be kind of in the same corner, so I didn't want them to clash too much. Anyway, here I am moving on to painting. I'm priming all of the boards that are the pine boards with the knots on them, because I've learned that knots can show through white pretty easily. So I'm using my 123 primer that I'll have down below in my Amazon shop. The shiplap came pre-primed, but I ended up going over it and everything in this area with the same white that I use on our kitchen cabinets, the Sherwin-Williams, pretty much just basic white with no color added into it. At the end of this video, I will show you the very before picture of the fireplace, because I've actually painted it a couple times. This black paint is something that I added over top of what was a interesting green marble. It's a little early, but I'm too excited to not do this. Hey, there you guys are. Look at you. Look how beautiful you look today. Above the mantle, I knew exactly what I wanted to put there, a black round mirror, and this is one that I got from Target, which I'll link. I think it was Project 62. It is what ties the whole space together. I love the roundness. I don't know what it is. It makes everything look so crisp and clean. You know, I did not get it right on the first time. I had to step back, look at it, and wanted it a little bit higher. So this I just nailed into the shiplap and hung up. Yeah, that's so much better. Here it is, guys. Honestly, I am still shocked that this is something that I built on my own. I am in love with how it turned out, though. It's so modern. It's so good. I had you guys vote on my rug over on Instagram. Remember, this is only part one of the living room. Here are a few peeks of the little elements going into it. Subscribe so that you do not miss the full makeover. Comment down below. Let me know how you guys think I did. Like this video. It helps my channel out so much. I will see you soon for part 2. And as always, happy cleaning.